everybody, welcome to part 1 of the Cyprus 29 project. It's my Cooler Master HAF stacker build. I finally got my video camera all set up, I got my microphone, and I'm ready to go. First off, I want to thank my sponsors on the project, Cooler Master, Primochill, ModSmart, Swiftech, and kspeed.com. It's really been a privilege to work with you guys on this one, and I thank you for all the parts you contributed to the build. In this update, I just have a few things. It's the first one I want to get going, and I just kind of want to get a video up already. I have made and painted some trim for my input-output channel, input-output panel, and I've painted my reservoir for the bottom case copper. It was white acrylic, and I painted it copper to contrast with the theme. I also am going to finish up my solid state panel, the mounting panel. It'll be an LED backlit mounting panel for that, and I'll also paint and mod the solid state drives themselves. That's basically all I want to get covered in this update, just so I can get a quick video up and on my channel, and then I'll do a forum update with some final photos of the parts I made and an embedded YouTube video. That's the way I plan to run it now with the video logs. So yeah, without anything else, we'll get into the project. I hope you guys enjoy the work. Alright, what I'm doing here is I cut out these little pieces on the CNC, and I'm going to go ahead and I stuck down some double-sided tape. I'm going to peel this off, and then I'm going to line these up just on the edge so I can go ahead and spray these copper, and once they're painted copper, I'm going to glue them around the edges on my input-output panel, and you'll see pretty shortly here. Alright, so I got them all ready to paint. I'm going to go ahead and just got to scuff them up. Basically scuffed all the sides and edges, and then stuck them up there. I'm going to wipe off the dust. Alright, there we go. Alright, really quick, I just wanted to show, I just hit it with all the copper paint, and now I'm going to throw on some layers of clear coat. Alright, I'm about to head out and paint this reservoir, but I first wanted to show you what I'm doing to hold it up. I took a plastic fitting plug, cut the edges off, and drilled a hole through it, and ran it in about 5 threads deep, and stuck a hanger through it. So that's what I'm going to use to hold this up, since I don't have any mounting holes on this one. Here it is after the first coat. Alright, it's all clear coated, ready to go. Alright, so what I have here is my white panel that's going to go on top of here, and this is the clear panel that'll be LED lit. I'm going to cut both of these on the CNC. That'll be my next step. First I'm going to take apart the solid state drives and get them ready for paint. I don't want to mess with painting them while the components are inside. And I'd rather just not risk it. So I'm going to get them taken apart. Now that the important part's out, take this inside, keep it protected, and I'll be scuffing and painting this. Alright, so I have the hard drives disassembled. I'm going to use the heat gun to peel these stickers off to prep them for paint. Just heat up the sticker, loosen up the adhesive, and it should peel right off. And also, I was just thinking I might actually go as far as to replace the black screws that hold these together with stainless steel screws, just to match what I did with the graphics card. And there we go, the sticker's removed. I'm going to go ahead and prep these for paint. Just want to scuff up the surface a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and get them in primer. Once these are in primer, I'll go ahead and get started on cutting these acrylic panels out. Alright, after scuffing all of these, the casing, I hit it with some prep spray just to get all the fingerprint grease and everything off of it. And basically just get some on there. And wipe it off with a rag and get all the smudges off so you don't get any orange peel. And now these are ready to hang up and prime. Alright, here I have the solid state covers all painted and clear coated. Once I went over it with the white paint, I went and hit it with a quick coat of clear just to protect it real quick. Didn't need a whole lot. They're going to have the copper painted acrylic sails that I cut out for the Corsair and glue that on top. And while these finish drying, I'm going to go ahead and get the mounting panels cut out on the CNC, and that's what's next. Alright, after finishing them up on the CNC, I'm left with this and this. One solid state will mount here, the other one will mount here. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off. The white solid states will be mounted on top of this copper panel. You'll have white lights shining through on these cuts here and on the sides. And it'll mount on top of there. LEDs will be mounted to the back of this. I'll probably just put a cut on the panel over there so it shines right through in. And next up, I'm going to paint this and get it ready to get it glued on and then mount the solid states. So I decided against gluing this panel together. I'm actually going to screw it together so I can mount from the back of this. I can mount the solid states on with screws, and then I can bolt this piece of acrylic to this piece and then bolt the whole thing to the case inside. So what I'm doing here is measuring the middle of this panel and basically making some marks so I can center the solid states. Alright, with the lines made, now I measure 50 millimeters on each side of the horizontal line will give me the top and bottom of the solid state, and then splitting the halves in half, 35 millimeters on each side of those will be the vertical sides of the solid state. Okay, and now once I have the quadrants made and the centering lines, I can go ahead and I'm going to use, since this is taken apart, I'm going to use the screw holes as a template. That way I'll have the perfect lineup. Next up, I'm going to drill out all the holes I have marked on here. 8 for the solid states, 2 to mount this panel to the clear acrylic, and then 4 that will mount the whole panel to the wall inside of the case. Alright, and that's all of them. Next up, I'm going to countersink everything. I'm about to countersink the holes. First, I want to get a close-up on this bit. I use a zero flute, 82-degree pitch countersink for acrylic. It seems to remove the material the best and leave the cleanest hole. So I found that that's been working the best for me. I'm going to go ahead and countersink these now. I'm going to do the visible side first. Alright, all the holes are countersunk. I can test fit it. Alright, all the holes are countersunk, so I'm going to trace these holes and drill out everything into the 1/4-inch acrylic. I'm drilling these holes out to a smaller size. I think it's a 2.5 millimeter bit because all the holes in this panel are going to be tapped with an M3, so I can, because everything's going to be mounting to this. real quick, anytime that I'm usually tapping acrylic, I just put the tap in the drill and run it through. I usually don't got to worry about it catching and breaking the tap. I usually use the drill for aluminum as well. I just use some cutting liquid, and then I run it a little bit slower in aluminum. But just for acrylic, you can pretty much fly through it. And that's all it takes. And I'll go ahead and attach my panel. Well, before I attached the panel, I was going to go ahead and reassemble my solid states. And as I was putting them on, I realized that a couple corners had been missed with the white paint. So what I think I'm going to do is skip over and paint this panel copper, re-hit these with the white paint, clear coat it all, let that dry, and I'll reassemble it all at one time. So I'm going to go ahead and prep everything for paint again, get that taken care of next. So what I went ahead and did was, last night it was a little too dark to film, so I just went and knocked out the paint that I needed to do. I had to touch up the solid states. I had to paint this copper. This is the panel that they'll mount onto. And while I was at it, I grabbed this mesh that I got for my bottom case and went ahead and painted that white. I had kind of ruined my other one for the old design that I had, and a buddy on Facebook sent me this one, so I got this one ready to go. So now everything's all set, and I can go ahead and mount it all, get everything together and mount it up. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is go ahead and close up these solid states. Last night I went ahead and dropped the chips back inside, and these are just pretty much seal up right together. Alright, they're all closed up, and I got a nice white solid state. Now I got the dryers put together. Next up, I'm going to get them attached to the panel and kind of test fit everything. Basically, I'm using M3s from the back side of the plate. M3x5 flathead cap screws. There it is. Solid state panel. Alright, next up I'm probably going to just put a quick piece of double-sided tape here, stick it on the panel back there to hold it in place while I mark the holes, and then drill them out and get this mounted in. I'm just going to cut a small piece of this double-sided tape. This isn't the clear modding tape, this is the extra strength tape. It's about 4 times as strong as the clear modding tape. I'm just going to stick a little piece on the back of this, like that. Peel off. And I'm just going to line it up center. Swap this out and throw in the tap, the M3 tap. Cast acrylic's pretty solid. You can usually, a lot of times I put an insert in, but if it's not going to be a support, if it's not supporting the structure, usually you're good to go with just tapping it. Alright, one thing I want to do while I'm in the middle of this, grab this panel, and you can kind of see I had to cut off this edge, so my bay cover that I made will drop right in there. When I had it, the mesh normally wraps down into the insides here. So I removed that. I'm going to go ahead and super glue it on.
I'm just putting a couple little dots. And set this on there. And I'll let it dry. And then next up, a little Cooler Master badge I'll throw on there. Alright, so I took off the drill, and now it's nice and flat along the edge here. I went ahead and threw the little Cooler Master emblem on, and I dropped in my bay cover. This is the reason I cut the edge out, so this could fit in there. It fits flush right inside of here. And I use a little strip of double-sided tape on the inside here to hold it in place. Really quick, while I have it off, I'm going to drop in the bulkheads. These bulkheads will all be painted copper, and then they'll have the white revolver fittings from Primochill on top of them, so it'll contrast. And there we go, that's going to be the bottom bezel. I'm going to go right on top of the reservoir. I'm going to go ahead and set it up and get a good look at how it's looking so far. Alright, well, thanks for watching part 1 of the Cyprus 29 video log update. That's all I have for right now. I got quite a few kinks to work out with filming and everything, but overall it wasn't too bad. Next update, I'm going to go ahead and finish up everything down in this bottom case and pretty much start assembling from the way up. And once I get everything where it's at, I'll tear it all down, at least to this point, and work my way up, putting in the electronics, and then or at least prepping the electronics. Then I'll go back, tear it all down, and do the final paint job on everything, and then do the final assembly. So a couple more details I want to add into the case on the outside, so there's still a good bit of modding to be done on this project, but yeah, tune into the next video part, and there'll be plenty more. I should have things a little more revised, a little more fine-tuned for the next update. So I think I'm going to do a little more commentative, less talking in the videos. I'll have an intro like this and an outro like this, and then most of my work will be done through audio commentary. I think it'll help move the video along quicker. I found through editing that I had a lot of times where I'm talking and I'm not working yet, so I got to wait for myself to finish talking and then get to the work that's being done. So there's a few little kinks to iron out, but you know, we'll get around to it in the next video. And also I'll have the promotional video coming up pretty shortly, probably next week. Next week sometime I'll have that one up, or maybe over this weekend I'll get it up. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, without anything else, that's it. If you guys like what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and share with anybody you know that's in computer modding and you know, CNC work. So all right, well, that's it for now. Take care, guys.